Hi guys, this is the interior of the new Mercedes CLS. Okay, and at a glance it's quite obvious that this is a common interior with the E-Class, but decked in a better selection of materials. Okay, so you get Burmester sound system there, and you get this nice open pore wood trim here, which I rather like. These gas turbine air con vents, they're also very beautiful looking. First debuted in the E-Class. Now it's making its way towards more models. The CLS is one of the latest recipients of this. Would love to see this in the E-Class sedan too. Okay, so you come down here. This is the standard Mercedes array of switchgear, but of course the CLS, it gets this more upmarket IWC clock. Okay, and being an early version, okay, an early model, you get this edition. This particular unit of the CLS is an edition 1 car, and they put this little wordings here to remind you of that fact. Okay, this instrument cluster should require no introduction. You can select between the three standard displays, all right, which should be quite familiar to most of us now. There's this sporty and sporty setup. Okay, all right. Okay, that's the sporty setup, and you also have classic, the 2-dial setup, and of course, I think this is my favorite most of the time. This is the progressive setting. Now, as you know, Mercedes has this little touchpad feature, and I recall in the E-Class, okay, this one, the way the execution of this touchpad isn't quite so refined. Now they've made it work better. So when you move this, okay, you actually you can actually slide left and right to select between the operation of these two screens. I remember in the E-Class, this one is fixed one. Okay, one side is fixed only, and only the other side is operable. So when you shift this to the left, you move this to the left, then it allows you to alternate between these two screens. Whereas when you shift this to the right, then this side gets activated. Okay, then it moves through the various menus. All right, and over here, okay, when you shift this menu, when you shift this pad, this one now operates the secondary screen right here, the middle screen right here. All right, pretty good. And so here's a look of the new steering wheel. Okay, here's the steering wheel. All right, and let's see. So let's turn you to the back seat. All right, so the CLS is now a 5-seater here, and well, but of course it's a primarily best used for 4 people, and you can see the seats are actually pretty well sculpted. So we come to the back. All right, that's my daughter in there, and let me just sit inside. Sven, hi. Hi. Why are you so sour face? Smile. She just woke up. Okay. Right. And so here's the armrest here, which you got 2 pop-up cup holders. Okay. And here are the ISOFIX mounts. As you can see, my child's seat fixed to the ISOFIX mount. I noticed that this particular mount, right, with my Recaro 01, the seat seems to be, quite susceptible to movement. I've never experienced this in another car before. A few times when I was taking corners a bit quickly, or when I was going through bumps, I can hear the seat actually shifting about in its position. Okay, just to double check that I installed the seat properly. Yep, it is. So not sure why it's behaving like that. And let me just sit here. So I am 170 centimeters tall, and okay, so headroom is just about enough. Leg room, as per this, is all right. Okay, The seats give decent support. The angle of the seat cushion is nice. It angles upwards, and of course this, as you can see, the middle passenger here, this is not meant for long distance duty lah, but you still get a full proper seat belt here and an individually adjustable headrest. Okay, here the rear aircon blowers here with with your own climate control, rear zone climate control, so it's a triple zone climate control system. Let me just show you an overall view of the dashboard. Okay, now the dashboard, well, we have seen this dash design. This is now pretty much standard Mercedes fare, and build quality is also as per Merc's usual standards, which is to say, well, not there, one step down from what rivals would offer, namely BMW and Audis. So you see, the thing is that with current generation Mercedes cabins, Mercedes have managed to find a way to make their cabins look absolutely stunning, especially when you view it in photos or in person. But when it comes to the build quality, when you knock some of the materials, the plastics and all, right, you feel that it is not as solid underneath as they are in their with their rivals. But that being said, with the CLS, it is good that they now have this open pore wood trim. Feels way better than the gloss black that you see in some of the lower range models. Okay guys, so here let's have a look at the camera. The CLS has a 360-degree camera here, and give you an up close look. Excellent clarity of image, and well, I've said this once before, I've said this almost every time when I review a Mercedes. Mercedes makes some of the best cameras in the business. Hi guys, it's nighttime here in the CLS, and so you can see Mercedes's ambient lighting. You can adjust various different colors. They always say, oh, you got 64 different ambient lighting colors. So here, running through the spectrum, all right, the whole lot of it. So now this is like purple, then we're going to blue, light blue, the green, yellow, and all. Okay, so you can also set it, all right, to multi-color. So what it means is, let's just try this. So what it would seem, this is like, it's like something like a theme, you know, okay, where in this case, right, dawn blue, and so you have a mix of different ambient lighting colors, and here fire red, all right, and you can see this part is now red, this is yellow, all right, red moon. See, so it's a bit, some of you may say, may find this a bit tacky, but I gotta say it's an interesting distraction, right? So various sort of options, and you can even have multicolor animation. Yeah, so that was it, multicolor animation, various settings available. And here's this, check it out. So right now this is the climate control, right? I adjust the temperature. So when you adjust the temperature, the vents actually change color. Okay, so now I adjust up, temperature go up, so the vents glow red. When I bring the temperature down, the vents glow in blue. Similarly, I do it for the driver's side. Okay, all right, and well, the pattern is also repeated here at the driver's side vent. So yeah, this is the Mercedes CLS at night. Alright guys, so this is the exterior of the CLS. This shape is familiar, needs no introduction. Underneath, as we all know, the CLS for the last 3 model generations, all 3 of its model generations have merely been mechanical derivatives of the E-Class, but wearing what Mercedes would market to you as well, a sexier body, I would say, right? So the formula is unchanged here. We see the same size of car as the E-Class, but of course the roofline is more aggressive, so it gives a more coupe-like kind of profile, and they reinforce that with, of course, frameless windows, right? And so you see, the thing is that one way Mercedes distinguishes their coupes from their sedans is that sedans, their side mirrors are attached to the A pillar, whereas for a coupe, the side mirror rises from the door panel. Okay, and also the coupes don't get sharp character lines along the shoulders. What they get is they get it's a more subtle kind of treatment here. Okay, now we come to the front first. So the CLS 450 here wears AMG line trim, and this being an early edition model, it is an edition 1. It gets a special edition 1 package, right? So you see, this is the front end, and at the first glance, this front end looks almost exactly the same like the A-Class. In fact, the day when we park this next to an A-Class, right, they are practically dead ringers for each other. So no, guys, what do you think of this new look Mercedes? This new Mercedes look. I still think I still much prefer the look of the second generation CLS. All right, but what are your thoughts? Share with me in the comment section below. Now we come close. These really narrow headlights, multi-beam LEDs, right? And of course they have this little detail here showing the Mercedes-Benz name, and this is the signature AMG line front lower bumper treatment, okay, with these two aggressive slats here, right? And of course you can see here, this is an aerodynamically functional vent, okay, and the grille here gets this diamond pattern treatment, very nice. And of course you see here the Mercedes logo here. This one is a well, it's enclosed, right, with a plastic cover on top, so this denotes cars with forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking, active cruise control, and all that. Okay, so you see the front camera modules are there, right? So here you see again from the side. Now here, look at the rear end. This is very long rear overhangs. Okay, proportionally it does make the car look, I don't know, a bit off, right? Maybe what would have been nice is if the rear wheels were shifted a bit rearwards. That would give it more balanced proportions. Okay, yeah, but this rear overhang is really long, and if you are reversing in tight spaces, you actually feel that length. Okay, so here you see the new look Mercedes rear coupe. This is the family look for all Mercedes coupes. Number plate on the bumper, and then this narrow slit tail lights, right? It started with the S-Class coupe, E-Class coupe, C-Class coupe. Now they put it onto this the CLS as well. All right, so a rather understated design, I would say. All right, and of course you open the boot. Of course at this level, power opening. But here you see the benefits of the long overhang. Very large boot. Okay, this is my stroller here, which I've now shifted all the way inside to show you just how big this boot is. So even with my stroller there occupying like a quarter of the boot, I can still fit at least, right, one large and one small suitcase in here, no problem. All right, and you also get split folding rear seats, which you can release, all right, by pulling this lever here. Okay, and you come here and straight away you pull this down. And what's nice is the floor is seamless, so the opening itself is quite small, so you can't transport really big objects, but you can transport long objects without problems. First time driving the new 3-liter inline 6 from Mercedes, and I must say this engine is quite a highlight. All right, it has a beautifully smooth linear power delivery that, you know, as much as, you know, modern day 2-liter inline 4 turbos, that all those, you know, 250 odd horsepower 2-liter inline 4s, they are quite capable of doing the job, and they are quite capable of, you know, of giving you very good performance. There is something special about having, you know, that extra capacity in the engine that allows you to pull effortlessly. And more importantly, it is really when you are cruising this thing on highways that, you know, you really appreciate how relaxed the engine feels along the way, and it therefore makes your whole motoring experience that much more pleasant. So the engine, very good, fantastic. I love this engine to bits, and the combination with the 9-speed automatic transmission. Now, the Mercedes 9-speed really is nowhere near as slick as the ZF 8-speed used by BMW, but its combination here with the 3-liter inline 6 is a well-worked combo. And in terms of real-world performance, right, I can cap this engine to 2,500 RPM, and you will still have plenty of performance to go faster than fast enough, right? I mean, this thing at 9th gear, in 9th gear, you are already, what, you only need 1,000 or 1,001 or 1,002 RPM to pull 100 kilometers per hour. So you can imagine how ridiculously easy it is to be on the wrong side of the speed limit when you are driving this, and you don't even need to go full throttle in this car. All right, as a matter of fact, most of the time, you know, when I see a clear enough road to go full throttle, I am very quickly encouraged to lift my foot off the throttle. And the reason is this: even with all-wheel drive, the high-speed handling of this car isn't exactly inspiring. Let me explain. So, recently we did a Genting run in this, okay, and so going up Genting, okay, all those rapid, fast turns, fast bends, and all right, no problem. This car handled it. It changed direction. The change of direction, in rapid changes of direction, was very well handled, well managed, okay. But before we reached Genting, right, on the long sweeping bend of Karak highways, somehow the chassis does not really give you the confidence to gun it around the bends. The chassis just felt very, very uncertain about itself. You know, when you're taking a long sweeping bend, you just don't get that confidence, that assurance, you know, of the chassis telling you that, come on, go for it, buddy, I'm with you with this, I'm behind you. You don't get that feeling somehow. So yeah, when you are on Karak highway, really this CLS, somehow the mechanical setup of the chassis is not quite there, okay. Ride comfort, broadly speaking, the CLS is comfortable enough, but when taking speed bumps, there were a couple of occasions when the suspension seemed to be caught not possessing enough travel, and this is probably the usual thing with air suspension. The computer did not react fast enough to give the correct damping to the air springs, and so you are best advised, if you see a speed bump, slow down, okay? Slow down. So the overall driving experience of the CLS really is fantastic engine, pretty average handling, and pretty average ride comfort. So I mean, for day-to-day driving, when you are if you are just going around in urban traffic, or with, of course, with a fair degree of highways, then what you would appreciate would be the smoothness of the engine, as well as of course, the quietness of the way the car moves. Okay, this car is very quiet on the move, and that is impressive considering it has frameless windows. Okay, so there is little to no wind noise, road noise coming into the engine when you are driving along at most speeds, most legal speeds. So overall, right, the CLS is in this CLS 450, guys, fantastic engine, right? This new 3-liter inline 6 from Mercedes is an engine that I had anticipated, I had great hopes for, and I am not disappointed in the slightest, right? The handling really could do with a greater degree of fine-tuning. In fact, if you ask me, I would take, if you're talking about a handling perspective, the BMW 5 Series, or even the clumsy looking 6 Series Gran Turismo handles better than this any time of the day. But that being said, the CLS successfully establishes itself as a more upmarket option compared to the two BMWs. Okay, because for whatever reason known only to themselves, BMW has given up on the 6 Series Grand Coupe model concept, but has instead migrated the 6 Series name to the Gran Turismo. So the CLS here is in the competition without any serious rivals. And so see, with the 6 Series, okay, if you want to consider it as a rival, which it isn't, the 6 Series only offers you the option of a 2-liter inline 4, a very potent 2-liter inline 4, granted, but still merely a 2-liter inline 4. Because when you are coming to the 500,000 price bracket, you want a bit of bragging rights. 2-liter inline 4 engines don't give you bragging rights. They give you, yes, they give you enough performance. They give you more than enough performance. That 6 Series engine is crazy fast, but it doesn't give you bragging rights. You know, at this level, you want to be able to tell the world that I've done well enough for myself. I can afford 2,000 ringgit a year in road tax. 2,000 ringgit of road tax a year to me is nothing. That is the kind of message you want to deliver when you're buying a car of this class. So I'd say definitely the CLS, the first generation CLS, when it first came out, I remember I was thinking, oh, this is a very clever way of making money by Mercedes, because what they did is they're basically taken the E-Class platform, put on a new body shell, and charge you a ton of extra money for that. But see, the thing is that the formula over 3 model generations of the E-Class, of the CLS, has worked fantastically well for Mercedes, and that is why we now see a 3rd generation CLS here. Okay, and you know, with what Mercedes has put into this car, it successfully communicates the fact that this is a product of an upper segment. So if you are, if you are in a position where you are not an S-Class or 7 Series target customer, you are stepping up from the E-Class 5 Series range, all right? Okay, you are not so hung up about practicality. You want style, then the CLS fits that bill. It fits that bill. This car has its flaws, but as a status symbol, as a car, as somebody who wants to spend 500,000 to 600,000 ringgit on the car, this the CLS here sends all the right messages out to the onlookers. No question about it. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you like my content, click on the subscribe button. Press the bell icon to toggle the frequency of updates every time I upload a new video. And don't forget also to check out the channels of Bobby, Bing and Fadil, okay, of the Horizon team. And until my next video, thanks for watching. Bye for now.